Okay, timestamp. It's August 16th, 2025, about 7 p.m. Walking scrap. Just been informed by my girl that cause we've got like a storage, got a carport on at George Station. It's kind of reinforced and closed in, but it's got some issues. I just just got informed that there was a baby possum in the kitchen this morning. Somehow it got probably from the carport to there, and she's trying to figure out what to do with that. Was texting back and forth with my girl. I asked if it had left any kind of a deposit to go towards the mortgage. Otherwise, it needs to go. Capricorn thinking here. I have not gotten a response. She's probably screaming obscenities with my name attached currently. True story. That was a message I was not expecting to get. There's a baby possum in the kitchen. Okay. I'm not sure how to work with that. Yeah, it's getting ready to jettison buckets onto us. I don't think it is related to Erin, which is the tropical storm, nay hurricane, that is playing around out in the ocean. But I have no guarantees of anything at this point. I haven't looked, to be honest with you. I just know I looked at the Weather Channel because I do that a lot. Because I'm old, that's the running joke there, right? But mostly because I'm trying to gauge what I can get done. It's very farmer's almanac for me. And I have great concerns about that lanai ceiling. Because if the right or wrong storm hits us, things get even dumber here. We got the septic done in July. That was a rather important thing because, house flooding and all that. Took a lot of the resources that we had, quite frankly. So, looking to kind of take a month off from big projects, just from a financial standpoint, kind of recoup. So I was hoping to get the bed bug spraying going this month because that's not as costly as most likely doing something with the lanai ceiling is going to be. Just a hunch, but I understand. I math, So I think that's going to make more sense. Hey, Scrappy, if those are baby bunnies, leave them alone, please. Hey, Scrap, let's go in. He is running around the Volkswagen. We know that there's at least a few baby bunnies running around. We're trying to make sure that Scrappy doesn't get a hold of them. I don't even know that he'd hurt him because he just kind of wants to play. He's very, very George, of Mice and Men reference. But George hurt the bunny. Really, really explaining that aside, For those who are not well read. Not George, Lenny. Took a nap, still waking up. That's actually where they get the cartoon thing, and I will name him George. Lenny wanted to tribute his friend. Anyway. Morning. I know it's 7 o'clock at night. What are you doing waking up? My schedule is all over the place. Took a couple hour nap. Hey, Scrap. Yeah, let's go in before you hurt somebody. No, really. Um, got Janus's meds. Getting a little droopy, so I laid down for a bit. My schedule's all over the place. And the dealings with my dad have got me kind of stressed out. Full disclosure. Nothing new there, just the general, not sure what's going to happen there. Come on, Scrap. Come on, doofus. Yeah, I changed Janus's box out. Still got one of those trays. I'm sure we got more around here somewhere though. My parents were keeping those a lot. We'll do a sausage. Yeah, that sounded like a good idea. As he spins in a circle like a circus dog. There you go, bud. So, got a package today. Nothing crazy, nothing major. I think I showed you I had the Plants vs. Zombies figures on my desk, which are representational of my family. Because I'm that kind of dork. Like Poppet Magic. But I've got, because again I am that dork, I've got some Disney Doorables, which it's like Micro Machines, you know, you can have an entire collection in a shoebox. But I've got some representational of my critters. Those that are like my critters, near and dear. And I've been picking these up. We had them at the Dollar Tree blind packs, and I've been picking a few up here and there on eBay. So I've got, and I don't think you'd resent this if you understood it, but I've got a Lucifer. It's the name of the cat. Don't get mad at me. That's my representational for Hex. Just kind of got a tuxedo thing going on. And I do have a Figaro, which color-wise is probably closer, but attitude-wise, Lucifer works better. This guy's from Aristocats, and I think Berlioz, because I think Toulouse is the orange one. But that's my Jinx, and I pulled out an O'Malley for Janus, and no, I'm not removing an arm. And I noticed that I didn't have puppy representation, so looking around online, and I found I'm going to resell whatever is in there that I don't want, but I got a small mix lot of Disney Doorables, so I got a Pluto for Scrappy. Full disclosure, I was trying to find a Diego from Encanto, but apparently there is a or two different Diegos running around. I think there's one that's like a neon one, which it's like fluorescent blue-green. It's looking for something a little bit more natural, you know. But there is a Diego out there, but it's like a rare and really, really stupid pricey. Because, yes, Dad, these little pieces of plastic can be rather pricey. As an example, we, as a couple, my dork wife and my dork self, had been grabbing up the ones from the Dollar Tree, trying to get a whole, not a whole set, but the ones that we wanted. And it's one of the rares, and it looks like they do like, looks like there are like 6 to 10 rares, and there will only be 1 or 2 rares in each case. So, because there's 6 or 10 or whatever rares, and this happens with like blind bags and blind boxes and stuff like that. it's not unusual to go through an entire case and not get the one rare you're looking for. You'll still come up with, just hypothetical, broad brush kind of thing, you'll still get 2 rares, but if there are 10 rares and there's only 2 in each case, there's guaranteed to be 2. But with 10 to choose from, probability-wise, if you had 5 cases, if probability worked perfectly smooth, which it never really does, it's probability. But if probability worked completely smooth, if you bought 5 cases, you would have all 10 rares. You would get 1 of each, if you follow me on that. That's not normally how it works. But there's a code. You can look it up online. There's a code, printed on it, on the very bottom, like a double-digit code that lets you know what character is actually in the blind bag. It's like a cheat code for the bags. And after we already had acquired, 100 or 200 Doorables, because we had, she still doesn't have a Maleficent. I think it's Series 5 is what we were getting. She doesn't have a Maleficent. She wants a Maleficent. So, but they're $20-$30 online for a little piece of plastic. This big piece of plastic, that's an inch and change tall. Cute little Pluto. There's another one that I wanted to get rather than this one. This one's still cute, but he has 1 ear up, and I thought that would be funny because Scrappy has that going on. But I could only find him in huge lots that were really expensive, and it was just I just need representation. I don't need to drop $30 for a bunch of, poppets that I don't need. I just need a Pluto. I need a representational Pluto. That'll work. Since the Diego, I did find one of the Diegos, and he's cute. He's a cute little adorable. But he's adorable. By himself, he was $20. Kind of like the Maleficent. No. I'm going to get this mixed one that has a Pluto in it for $5. I'll do that. Which is what I did. And I got some other figures, but again, I'm going to probably resell. There's one other one that I'm going to keep. The rest of them I'm just going to put in my own mix lot on eBay and resell. It's like regifting. But I do that all the time. I'll buy a mix lot of Star Wars figures. It'll have 30 figures in it, and 10 of them will be Stormtroopers or Imperial pilots or stuff like that. And I'll keep those, and then I'll resell the other 20. And typically I make my money back. Actually, typically I double my money. Because I usually I just have a knack for it. I find bargains. I find people that either aren't listing it smart, or I catch it at just the right time. I have a cosmic luck thing where that's concerned. Kind of like how I was able to keep the shop alive for 9 years. Because I've had, accountants look over my books from the shop, and they're like, how did you make this work? How? You should have gone out of business 4 times. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm just special. But I have a knack for making right place, right time, finding things. Always have. When somebody needs that really, really weird, stupid, off-the-wall item, I'm the guy that actually has 2 in my garage. That I picked up a year ago because I thought I might need it one day. And now I know why. I'm that guy. It has made life interesting in my 54 years. If only we had number 37 widget. Oh, I got one. Actually, it's in a box in my closet. Let me go grab that. So, shifting gears, I found out that someone I used to work for, one of my bosses, passed this week. That's weird. And she probably would have been around 70. But she was one of my bosses at my first job. My first job, I'll tell you. I worked at, this was my high school going into college job, I worked at Mel's Hot Dogs, which if you're not Tampa area, that may sound like, what? Um, Mel's Hot Dogs on Bush Boulevard, right next to Busch Gardens. Um, Kind of a local icon, or at least it was for quite a while. He retired recently and sold the place. Mel, self-made millionaire. Um, I think he opened the place in 1973. He was a jazz musician from Chicago, and he came down here and playing music and whatnot, and discovered that there were no hot dog joints that sold hot dogs the way that he remembered them from home. Vienna hot dog, steamed bun, just the Chicago street vendor way of doing hot dogs. No one did it. So he opened up a small restaurant, which became a slightly larger restaurant, and eventually it became kind of um, a landmark, really, for the Tampa area. But I started working there when I was 16, and I left when I was about 20. I was one of his closing managers. I started out just as a busboy. And I learned a lot from him from a leadership management standpoint. A lot. Self-made Jewish businessman. You can say what you want about the stereotypes. I'm not making any leaps either way. But that man knew how to handle money. He was smart. He was shrewd. Is. He's still around. Very fair. If you cross him, you are, and I'm choosing my F's. I'm picking my F's carefully, as I think Scots would say. If you cross him, you're fooked. He will embarrass you publicly, shamelessly. Absolutely no F's to give. About one of his managers that I worked for 4 years, she passed this past week. So I'm kind of like, yeah, that was a place that was important to me, my growth as a person, as a human being, as a leader. And I'm just like, wow, okay. I mean, we're not immortal, right? We're not. We'd like to think we are. You know, I've been running through this in my head the past 2 years now. You know, at least for me, I looked at my parents as, you know, immortal, infallible. And now that I'm here, the reality of reality has set in. My parents aren't infallible. They're not indestructible. They can be wrong. They prove that. And they're not immortal. You know? So it's just kind of, it was just, I saw the news this morning on my feed, and I went, wow, okay. Wasn't expecting that. Yeah. She was interesting. She opened my eyes to a lot of things. I grew up very sheltered, very sheltered. So my first job, that was like really seeing the world for the first time. That and theater really was eye-opening for me as a kid. I can truthfully say that she was the first. I'm gonna call her this. I don't think she'd be too offended by it. She was the first hippie lesbian that I ever met, because that's just kind of who she was. Very free-spirited, very unafraid, very proud of who she was. And I did not understand when I first met her who she was, because I was a naive, sheltered kid. But as I grew to understand her, I really grew to understand. And I had respect for her. And she's gone. So. interesting thing to wake up from a nap to, right? I guess she passed earlier in the week, but her significant other just posted the news, and I understand how that can be, where you may not necessarily feel like announcing it to the world 3 minutes after the event. Because there have been some things that have happened with me over the past year that I've forced myself to do that. I didn't necessarily want to, I'm going to go live while the emotions are raw. No, I'm pretty open, but at the same time, I'm still a human being, and I don't necessarily like displaying the rawness at times. But I'm also trying to be really honest. And I'm not saying that she wasn't trying to be honest, but I can absolutely understand how someone would delay in alerting the public. Absolutely. Because when that first happens, it's a brick. It's a brick, man. So anyway, happy times. I got Pluto. It's cute. Scrappy, you're on my desk. Just let out a sigh behind me. All very appropriate. So. I'm going to have to look through my stuff. Yeah. No, because that's the only Pluto I have. I was going to say, I think I have a Tramp somewhere too, but I like the Pluto better. Again, I kind of wanted the 1 year up thing, but there were only two different lots that I could get it in, and they were just... One of them was a huge lot, so it was like $100 lot, but there were like 80 durables in it, so I understand the price on that. And that's still really cheap, because if you piece it out and resell it, you can probably do $200 or $300 with it. And that's not doing that this second, because I used to, but we're being a little bit more tactical with our spending right now. Once upon a time, though, that was one of the ways that I paid the bills, is I'd buy that 50-piece Star Wars lot, keep the 5 that I wanted to resell the 45 and double my money. And it might take 3 months to double the money. You don't sell it right away necessarily. But if you do that over a long period of time, you're constantly making $100 into $200. After a while, it's a paycheck. You know what I mean? Because you're making money on stuff you bought 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 months ago, last week. And that keeps you in business, buying more things and keeping the doubling motion going. Right now, we're just trying to kind of take it easy. I'm going to get back on the living room project. Bathroom's roped. It's done. Which, that's cool. Because that was a major eyesore. When you first walk in the bathroom, and to your left, right by the medicine cabinet, there's like 2 medium-sized, like 30-pound totes of shampoo, Q-tips, toothpaste, muscle rub, all this stuff that my parents bulked up on to try and resell at garage sales. My hand to God. It's just like, and a lot of it's expired because they bought it and bought it and bought it and then never sold it because they never did the garage sales. And I'm not going to sell expired pharmaceuticals. Even HBC stuff, I'm not going to do it. Nope. I'm not licensed to sell that kind of thing, and because it's expired, the liabilities. Do I know it's still probably good? Yeah. Is there a risk? Oh yeah, and I don't like being sued. I hate it. Been sued once or twice. It's not fun. It's annoying. It's annoying. So we're going to skip that and just discard, which again, needless waste. Which just really, really annoys me. True story. No way around it. So, anyway, I'm going to, I think, make a snack. I'm feeling a little peckish. Might have some yogurt. Sounds pretty good. I got a couple tubs of the Greek yogurt in there. A little blueberry, a little cinnamon action. Good snack, good for me. And blueberries, I got the antioxidants going on, some other vitamins, or vitamins. I love the English way of pronouncing that. Vitamins. It's great. Yeah, sounds good. We're going to do that. I got to get dishes out of the dishwasher, get the next batch in, the normal day-to-day. That's alright. And there's a possum at George Station. And I'm going to hear about my response. So, yeah. If it's not helping with the rent, kick it out. Gotta go. Do some dishes, do something, Help with the laundry. I don't know. Contribute. Pick up a bucket, come on. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to hear about that. Alright. Make it a great day.